Okay, everybody, it's zinger time. Got to get to it. We all knew what wouldn't be said last night, pretty much anything about real policy. So let's take a look at what we knew would be said. Stuff like this. Check it out.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, why not? Just join the debate by saying more crazy things.
I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted. It'd also be lots of other people. It also could be somebody sitting on their bed that weighs 400 pounds, okay?
He called this woman Miss Piggy.
I was going to say something extremely rough to Hillary, to her family, and I said to myself, I can't do it.
Yes, you can. Remember, there are 3 debates, the one viewed by the audience there, the one viewed by TV viewers, and, of course, the ones viewed through social media. The latest polls have shown Clinton leading Trump by about 2.5 points. This is before the debates, but who is leading on social media? The 6th estate, as far as I'm concerned. Well, what do you know? Trump. By quite a bit. We're talking 62% to about 38%. Perhaps the best contribution in that was former presidential candidate Howard Dean. Notice Trump sniffing all the time? Coke user? That was retweeted 26,000 times more than that. It was great. And let's also add that Donald Trump is selling a crooked Hillary Snapchat filter. Of course, he's not giving away for free, he's selling it. So we've seen the spice of the debate. Let's take a look at some content. I'd like to bring in a few gentlemen who can do that for us. Republican over here, Brian Pruitt, director of Red State, and Democrat Adele Molyneux, co-founder of Rock Solutions. Thank you very much for joining me. I want to talk about the person that everyone said lost last night. Right after the debates ended, all the pundits took to the air, and it was Hillary, Hillary, Hillary. What's your view of this?
Well, I completely disagree with that. Just to follow up on your lead-in, while Donald Trump won the Twitter sort of content, there were some statistics presented this morning that showed that in terms of Google searches across all 50 states, Hillary Clinton won the Google searches, and I believe as well on Facebook. So just to give it some context, he'll always be the king of Twitter.
That's exactly.
He'll absolutely be the king of Twitter, but I think across the board, she won the debate. I hate to use the word win the debate. She got the better of him in terms of letting him get riled up, interrupt her, kind of really lose his own cool.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I think that she won the debate, and you're right, there wasn't much on policy, but if you're going to look at all the other criteria for who wins or loses a debate, I think first was the optics. You know, you're looking at the split screen, she was smiling and seemed very upbeat and confident. He was scowling a bunch, the sniffling aside. I think the back and forth with him and Lester Holt didn't do him any good, and it was mostly his fault. You know, sometimes you just got to shut up and, you know, I mean, and not try to explain your way out of everything. And you could see that one person was prepared for the debate, and the other, Donald Trump reminds me of, there have been times when I've been caught just doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing, and then you start talking, and you talk, and you talk, and you talk, and you hope that by the end of it, you've gotten out of it, and he did that at least a few times. So,
That's right.
You know.
The unfortunate thing for her is that Lester Holt did not ask any questions about the Clinton Foundation. It really didn't push too hard on the email.
That's
so
right.
The second debate, you can be sure that the moderator of the second debate will make an issue out of that. So she'll probably be prepared.
Yeah, and nothing on immigration either. And there were, but I also think that part of that is Trump filibustered, and he went over, I think, his time on every single question. So there are probably a few other things that Lester Holt would have liked to have asked and didn't have a chance to.
Well, not only that, people were talking about reinstituting the bell. I mean, ding, ding. So everyone knows, okay, you're going over your time. Please, let's move on to other content. Let's listen to a soundbite that Hillary said last night about the 90s. I want to get both your reactions to that.
I will bring back jobs. You can't bring back jobs.
Well, actually, I have thought about this quite a bit.
Yeah, for 30 years.
I have, well, not quite that long. I think my husband did a pretty good job in the 1990s. I think a lot about what worked and how we can make it work again.
Well,
So she's referencing her husband in the 1990s. Obviously, she was part of a partnership. She was in the White House with him, etc. But don't you think it's sort of taking credit for a past president because you're married to him, or sort of disingenuous? The crowd, I talked to people who were a bit mixed about that. What do you think?
You know, if you're going to take all the crap, then you might as well take all the credit too. I mean, and that's the truth. If there's anything that Bill Clinton did, and there were scandals, and there were things that were negative, she gets tarred with all of that. So why not take some of the credit? If it's, you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, if we were going to be fair about this, then we would completely separate everything that happened in those years from Secretary Clinton, and we would judge her specifically on what she did as First Lady. You know, and then we would also, and then we would also look at her Senate record, and only her her record as Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Part of his lack of preparation is not being able to pivot, because he should have. His strength is on the trade issue, and if he's going to criticize her for the 90s, he needs to be criticizing her and the former president on NAFTA, because so many people are upset about it. The American people have spoken about Bill Clinton and his personal dealings from back in the 90s, and they don't really care. They don't really care. And so for him to even at the very end even make this sort of like half threat is. I don't think the American people care anymore about that.
And I think especially younger voters. He's speaking to listen, I think that there's still a segment of the voters that remember the 90s and may or may not be turned off by some of the scandals. I think people are pretty split on where they stand on Bill Clinton vis-a-vis that. But I think there are a lot of younger voters that have no idea what whitewater is, and it would take too long to explain to them what exactly it was. And so why is he going into the past when he should be talking about the future?
Exactly. I think that's what a lot of people were talking about. And then he's also not, he's got new projects to get these younger millennial votes. But the thing is he's bringing up stuff that people in that generation hear about all the time. Sex scandals, Anthony Weiner, hello, all of this stuff. They don't care. Not only that, but Donald Trump is no angel.
Yeah, like that. Mm-hmm.
So it's that sort of social, I guess, sort of liberal attitude, and he's not addressing that. How do you think going forward he's going to straddle this difficult sort of being moderate on the social issues? He's got the social conservatives, but he's also trying to get people over to his side. How do you think he's going to handle that?
He's secured the base. The base isn't going anywhere for him, and her base isn't going anywhere. His problem is that, there's the short-term win that I think was marginally hers, but if her team is not already doing ads, sort of wrapping up all the inconsistencies from his performance last night, especially him acknowledging that he did not or does not pay federal income taxes.
It's smart.
I think that is, there's a short-term win and there's a long-term win, and she has there's a real opening there.
And what about you, real quick, before I go?
I think that your question presumes that he has a level of strategy that would allow him to do that. And I don't think that, I actually don't think that he does.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
I think he shoots from the hip, and he might have. Listen, now, granted, as you were saying, if the emails and some other stuff come up, that might be able to put him on offense. But he was wholly unprepared for that debate, and he had to have known that some of those charges were coming up, and he handled them poorly.
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen as the next debates come up. Very exciting. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining me. Brian Pruitt, Director at Red State, and Rodell Molyneux, founder of Rock Solutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What about